What's up, everyone? This is Matt, and today I finally completed my ranking for TNT's brand new items. I've been trying to work on content so that way I can get videos out to you at least every other day until the 4th. So hopefully that's what winds up happening. We will see. But for now, we're just going to look into how TNT's new items are, and I'm going to rank them in order from my lowest to my top pick on what you should buy this year. So here are all of the new items from TNT this year. Before we start, I just want to say I'm actually very happy with this new round of items that TNT has come up with. There really isn't a bad fountain in this bunch. I even said that last year, but this one is way better than last year even. So what you'll honestly mostly be seeing here is like a ranking of their prices, because these are all fairly good fountains. Because there's good fountains and then there's a couple of real outliers that I think you are going to want to have, and certainly I'm going to have this year. These fountains seem to have a bit more power into them than TNT's new stuff from last year even, and I said that, like I said, their stuff last year, I thought their stuff last year was great. So I'm excited to try some of these out. For right now, 2 of these are on my list. There's 8 items in total. Hopefully I will end up getting my hands on more of them, but, you know, I only have a certain amount of money for right now that I can spend on fireworks, and you gotta pick and choose. You guys know how it is. So as I said, we're going to do this in countdown format. And number 8, I have the Patriot Poppets. They're cheap, but they're basically just red, white, and blue colored poppets. The box has very nice art, but I can't say these are super impressive. I mean, they're just poppets. They do have a better value if you only need one box, as opposed to the regular poppets, which I believe are buy one get 2 free for $4. But unless you really just want colored poppets, these, I mean, they're the same thing. So that's why they're the lowest here. At number 7, we have the mini dagger. I promise I'm not just singling out novelties here, but for kids that want these, and more specifically, I guess, love Minecraft, these will sell. Or from the demos I've seen, to be honest with you, it looks like they just took a fairy wand / ninja stick and stuck it in this cardboard and are charging you $16 for the 2 of them. Wouldn't mind betting that's what happened. I'm not going to put any money on it. I'm not a gambling man, but that's a bet. You know, I would love to see somebody dissect one of these, because I'm pretty sure that's exactly what is in one of them. So just get the 5-pack of the fairy wands or ninja sticks, even though I think those are overpriced too. But, you know, 5-pack for $19 versus 2 of these for $16, unless you just want to have a sword fight with these mini daggers, or, you know, you have a kid that just wants to have the sword, then yeah, go ahead and grab these. But the fairy ones, I think, pretty much do the same thing for a better value. Now we're into the part of the list where I actually had to start making some choices. At number 6, I have the 5-minute showdown, and that's mainly because the price on this is just, in my opinion, it's too far out there. However, this is a pretty decent fountain. It's got some very, very nice colored fish. And they're red and green, and they go, I think there's like 3 or 4 cycles in this thing, and the duration is 5 minutes. They aren't lying to you about that. Apart from the price, I think another critique I have about this, but this critique is kind of meaningless, is that it just seems overall kind of just repetitive. After about 3 minutes of watching the demo, I really just felt like I was watching the same thing over and over again. But there's only so much effects you can put in a fountain to make it last 5 minutes, so I'm not going to knock them too hard for that. I just, you know, the price is too high. It is a better grab than Candy Paint, which is sold at the same price, and it is definitely a better grab than Allegiance, which is like $10 higher than this. but you're better off with the opening show. I wouldn't classify this as a finale, actually. I don't think it has the oomph that it needs to be a finale. It's just a really long-lasting and very overall just decent fountain. I dropped a bat. That's what that was. I got a bat right next to my bed. I don't even know if you guys heard it, so maybe I'm just yapping, but I got a baseball bat next to my bed and I dropped it. That's what that ding was. Anyways, when it comes to effects, these are definitely lacking. But at number 5, we have what's called the Dino 2-pack. But the value on these is very, very good. Well, I'm not going to say very, very good, but it's more acceptable than the 5-minute showdown, which is why I have it here. These small fountains, one of them is a Purple Rain, and the other one is a Short Stacks, they both do the same thing. It's just I think the timing on Short Stacks is slightly different. And so there's nothing new about these, but the reason I put them up here is just they go over 5-minute showdown for the value alone. One thing worth mentioning is if you have to have Purple Rain from TNT, it is worth it to just grab these instead. They are $2 cheaper, and like I said, one of them is a Purple Rain, and the other one isn't a Purple Rain, but it does the exact same effects. So may as well just get these, and you get 2 for $11.99 as opposed to 2 for $13.99. At number 4, we have what's called Beatbox, and this is another one that I think is priced fairly appropriately, maybe a little too high, but I think it's appropriate. It's actually got some pretty high and pretty powerful crackle, along with those 2 speakers you see on it that light up. I think this fountain is honestly a bit overlooked. I was pretty impressed with the demo I watched on Beast's channel about it, but I haven't heard people in the Discord and out of it in comments. I haven't heard people talking about this fountain at all. I don't think it's an absolute must-have, but I would love to see one of these in person because it definitely surprised me, and I think it's being a little forgotten for what it is. So it's got that cool light-up effect, and you're getting an actually fairly decent crackle, which has pretty good height on it, too, for $25. Number 3 is where I decided to place TNT's brand new spinner. This is called American Revolution. It's super cool to me to see TNT finally bring a spinner into California, and the price on this one basically renders Radioactive Spark from Phantom just irrelevant. Don't even bother buying the Radioactive Spark with this one. So this thing has red, white, and blue effects, which digs into that American Revolution name. And in Beast's video, I noticed this thing really, it gets whipping along. It spins really pretty fast. And it ends with some, again, very powerful crackle. So, like I said, this thing just blows Radioactive Spark out of the park. It's about a 500-foot home run to dead center, and as a matter of fact. I really wish I had the budget to grab this one this year, because I really like it, but I don't think I'll be able to have it this year. But I am very impressed with this fountain, and it's on my list for next year for certain. No doubt about that. This is where I ran into real trouble picking. These top 2 are an extremely difficult choice to pick which one I think is the best. We have one that is best value, I think, and another one that is best effects. And I get the feeling that if I rank these 1 and 2, my choices will be controversial. That and the fact I really just cannot decide. I've put one above the other, and then my mind goes, no, that's not right. So I've decided that these aren't going to get a 1 and 2 ranking, but I'm going to tell you which one I think is the best value and which one I think has the best effect. When it comes down to value, the BOGO Tiny Titan is number 1. These things are just insane for their size and offer some crazy good crackle and some amazing spread. The final tube of this is kind of like the ending 3 tubes on the Centennial. the smaller Centennial. That's kind of what I think it is. It's got this kind of slow motion crackle with giant spread. I did not expect these tiny. They are very tiny, by the way, to be this insane. So they really do live up to their name. And at $8 a piece, there's 16 BOGOs, so that divides into $8 a piece. I don't think you're going to find a better performing fountain for $8 anywhere in California. Maybe at the Fireworks Unlimited in Modesto or the Blast Zone in Fresno, but not at Phantom, not even at DFS or /Freedom, in my opinion. So I think this probably is no surprise to anybody, but this is the best overall value. Grading on effects only, though, I have Electro in the number one spot. The price on this one is still pretty good in my opinion, but there's just no way, no chance it's going to beat Tiny Titan when it comes to value. The thing I love about this is it has this super unique sizzling crackle, and it sounds like TV static, like electrical static. I don't know how they did that, but I've never heard it in fountains at all. There's nearly 2 minutes of burn time in this beast. The middle crackles before the ending stage are also super powerful, and at the end you get that gigantic slow motion crackle that the OG Stormrunner from Phantom became famous for. I think the spread on the OG Stormrunner is a little bit better than this one, having seen the OG Stormrunner in person. However, this has amazing effects all the way through, whereas Stormrunner is kind of like, okay, just hurry up and wait until we get to that last tube. And when you hit that ending stage is about where that fountain becomes worth it. This one's good all the way through. So when it comes to best effects, this is the way to go. This will also do really good as a finale. It's not really a budget finale, but it would do the trick if you wanted just a giant ending crackle finale with some neat effects on all the way through. So that wraps it up. When it's as challenging as this year was for me to pick a favorite of these new items, like I still cannot decide which one should be rank 1 and rank 2. So we're just going to leave it as best value and best effects and not have to go down that bridge. And it just shows you that TNT has brought their A game to California this year, and I am all for that. I thought last year was good, as I think I've said before, but TNT surpassed themselves this year and brought in some fountains that have some serious power. They got that oomph in them. So I hope they stay locked in like this on their new items. And it's sad to say, even though Phantom, I had some nice things to say about Phantom's new items in that video, TNT knocked them out of the park again with new stuff. Thanks for watching.